I had a person of influence. I'm not going to say who this person of influence was. Was it a teacher? Was it a relative? I'm not going to say. But for me, for instance, I had a person of influence in my life who had access to me from about the age of 8 till about the age of 17. And on a daily basis, the smallest mistake, the slightest thing go wrong, you are useless. You'll never amount to anything in life. I heard this thing almost daily from this person from about the age of 8 till about the age of 17. And this would come, from basic things like, okay, you broke a plate, you did the dusting and you didn't do it properly, things like that. Because I grew up in a home where you had to do chores. So, and when you're small, you will make mistakes.
Definitely.
So, but
sometimes intentional.
yeah. No, not intentional mistakes. Not intentional. A mistake can't be intentional. That's, if you want to be mischievous, that's different. But when I say mistake, I'm talking of a mistake. As a child, you're careless. Yeah. Maybe you're rushing off to go and watch TV. You want to run off and go and play. So you don't really pay attention to detail. There are adults who cannot pay attention to detail. So when you put that much on a 7 or 8-year-old and the child is not able to deliver that well, you should be able to say, you didn't do this properly. Did you notice this? Okay, do it again. That would suffice. So I just know that back then children were seen and not heard, my generation. I didn't feel that I could report the person to anybody. I was afraid of how my parents would react. Oh. I was afraid of how my parents would react. So I didn't feel like I could tell them that this was going on. And then again, I felt like I deserved it because I felt this person was correcting me. I mean, I had friends who would get beaten to a pulp for the same thing. So I felt I was better off. Okay. But the problem was, I was a very sensitive child. So words would do almost as much damage as a beating. Yeah. And I would internalize this stuff, think about it and everything. And because I struggled with my health, I was generally frailer than my peers.
So you had enough time to think.
Yeah, and then also because I was frail and small, I'd be bullied in school as well. Then I'd come home and this person would have access to me to poison my mind like this. And over time, this was before I even understood the principle of building yourself up. When this person would say this to me, I'd just say in my mind, no, I'm not going to be useless. I'm going to be somebody in life. And this thing you're saying is not true about me. Yeah. And how did that happen? It's because growing up, I was lucky enough to have the kinds of parents that gave me access to very good books. I started reading children's versions of things like Charles Dickens, who are these great writers of back then?
Enid Blyton?
Enid Blyton, Famous Five, all these things. I read really good books. Secret Five, things like that. I read really good books that built my self-esteem up, kind of. But it was hard to use that to build myself up when in school I'd get bullied because of my small size and not being too strong. Then I'd come home and this person would have the time to do this thing to me. So it was a tough one. And I cannot say that I'm completely rid of that still small voice that keeps telling me I'm stupid, I'm useless, and I'll not amount to anything in life. You understand?
By now we're done. That voice will die. What do you think?
For me, growing up, because I was a first child.
That's a
deputy mother.
Yeah.
A lot of responsibility.
I was a first child, and I was a woman. I was a girl. It was a tough one. It was really, really tough. There are some days I just go back and say, when I'm in bed, is this lady really my mother? And you understand? You always try to ask yourself certain questions. And it went on and on and on. And after leaving home, I now went to a military school that was terrible. The day I was dropped in school, I was literally, my father was going and I was running. And when he was going, he said, you will not die. You will, in life, in future, you will look back and tell me this was good I did for you. But I didn't understand then. And in that military school, because I think I was a bit stubborn.
Have you stopped?
I was a bit stubborn because if it was not my way, it was no other way. And here I was in a school that it was mixed boys and girls, and it was a tough one. I was a third set, and I had two other two. The first two sets were there. It was tough. When I say tough, it was tough.
Did you at any point lose your focus?
I did. Let me be very. You see, the thing is that when people tend to grow up, they tend to want to spice it. I had one problem in school. I was top heavy. For a Form 1 student who was top heavy, with other people very slim, and you being top heavy, there was this notion growing up that if you were top heavy, you were a naughty child.
Yeah.
So that thing messed up with my self-esteem.
Wow.
From Form 1 to Form 5, I wore jumpers.
Wow.
How I came out of it, I really didn't know. But I had to work on my self-esteem. And the good thing was that I now had parents who knew that I had a problem. And in life, they tutored me. And in the end, it has actually worked for me. I'm very happy we're talking about these things because stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Things are happening. People are sick because so many people have just brought down their self-esteem. Most people want to kill themselves because of their self-esteem.
You know, as you mentioned it now, I'll roll it back to Coach Didi. You know, a lot of times when we talk about self-esteem, we look at it from, okay, it's a textbook thing. It's an ego thing, like he mentioned when he came in. Why are women bothered about ego? You know?
Yeah.
So I know from what you said, there are a lot of spillover of negativities that can actually come up. You want to point out this, bad consequences of low self-esteem.
Well, you see, self-esteem basically is your sense of personal self-worth, your sense of value, your opinion about yourself. So naturally, if it is low, it affects everything because your self-esteem affects your decision-making, the choices you make in your life. So low, in fact, many people think low self-esteem is a mental health issue. It's not. But it can lead to mental health issues because most people who suffer from low self-esteem end up being stressed, lonely, suffer from anxiety, depression. Some go into even drugs because they have this need to like set it free, let it go. You know, this feeling of being not enough, not good enough. And then, like you said, when you have someone in your life that also constantly makes you feel even less, it does affect this, your mental health. It kind of goes hand in hand. You know, when she was saying something about the childhood, and that's why, you know, so many people, our childhood is crucial. It's really, really crucial. Our upbringing, the environment we grew up in. You were saying something about you when you went to school and how your mother treated you, and just you had someone else in your life. In my case, I'm from a broken home. My parents were divorced, so I had very low self-esteem because I remember in school.
Like this?
Yes, I had low self-esteem. I had low self-esteem as a child.
Yeah.
Because when you live in a society whereby you're already thought of as less. If you're from a broken home in northern Nigeria and being raised by a woman, you're less already.
Yeah, it's true.
You are already less, and then there are insinuations. They are told, like, and so you keep feeling I'm not good enough. So I always tried hard to do better. I was always trying to up myself because it was like I was in a competition with someone, but it was just with myself. I kept on trying to prove I can do it. I can be the best in everything. I had to study harder. I had to be a better moral standing, a better character, because I didn't want it to be that she's like this simply because she's from a divorced home. She's like this because she was raised by a woman. So it's tough.
Okay.
It's tough.
Now let's see from the men perspective.
From the men.
Yes.
Funnily, as they both spoke, I think is a theme that occurs in virtually every African home. Growing up, I myself have had issues. In fact, I say jokingly that I only forgave my mom about 10 years ago because so my mom was the disciplinarian in the house. So like we'd come back, we'd go play, we'd come back, and then because she had this
Koboko.
the cord from the radio. You know, the old radios, the cord. So she'd take it out and then she'd beat us with the cord. I remember one particular incident where I went to play at our landlord's house, and then I played with the ball and it broke the fluorescent in the house.
You're
So
done.
I was just
you're
coming out.
still alive.
You see, so you can relate.
Oh yes. Okay.
You know, so I just came out of the bathroom, and then of course the military drill started, and
Yeah,
then
with the
I
wet
got-
body.
with the wet body. So you can imagine how much that image stuck, you know, in my head. And like she said, obviously it affects your relating with yourself first of all, because it does something to you. You don't feel good enough. Things that ought to be normal for a child. You know, I mean, playing, forgetting things, just being silly. You know, that's what a child should be. So those things affect you to that degree. It affects your relationship. It affects the output that you give to the world. It affects how you see yourself in general.
You know, Pablo, the psychologist, he talks a lot about motivation, reinforcement, you know, and consequences, and of course, the feedback. And I always want to draw my strength from there, because a lot of times parents are seemingly the cause of a lot of bad things going on today. Whether or not we like it, or like whether we like it. Why I say so is we have refused to believe that all our children were not born in the same day. We have refused to believe that our fingers are not all equal, meaning that we all don't have the same strength. I have 3 girls and I always describe them differently. The first one I call the mom. She has the potentials of being a mother, you know. The second one I call the sissy. The third one I call the tomboy. You know, they all have their personalities that makes me, you know, give them those descriptions. So I don't expect that there is something the last one is not doing well, and then I start comparing her with the first one. That's where you begin to make her feel less. Or the first one is committing a crime. You're not telling her, can't you see your sister? Your sister pass exam, get grade A. You pass, get grade D. For crying out loud, the best result is not always the best money earner. And at the end of the day, sometimes the people that are ruling us, you know, are not even, you look at the specifications, they are not even asking them for master's degree. They are not asking them for BSc. It's just for them to have the ordinary knowledge and the basic, you know, prerequisites to get in. So why do parents always, if you born a child today, the first thing they're asking, my doctor don't come, my lawyer, this one is going to be my lead. What's wrong? Like I mentioned, I picked something from the playlist. I was going to expunge it, but I said no because he needed to also pass a message. The man was scolding, the mother was scolding. He said, do you want to become a fish seller? And I said, if you go to market to buy fish for your soup and you go there, suddenly there's no fish seller. Is that normal? Every single person is important. Every single profession is important. I wish parents can pick this up. And gone are the days where we think graduates are the ones ruling. They are not the ones running the show too.
No,
They are not.
they're not.
Because if you have a company as little as it is and you call it cleaner, errand girl, the cleaners, do you know how much they earn?
I know.
In Abuja, you know, they clean your house in 1 weekend, they collect 25K.
Yes.
And you know how many houses they'll clean Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
So in 1 weekend, they are making 100,000, 200,000. That's your salary for 2 months.
Yes.
A level 8 officer's salary is less than 70,000.
It's not changed.
Meanwhile, that person you call cleaner is earning that money in 1 weekend. I didn't say 1 week, 1 weekend. And then we don't want our children to become cleaners.
If I may come in based on something
I said.
Joy said.
Okay.
You said something about your parents noticing that, and then they stepped in.
Yes.
That's beautiful. My parents did the same for me, but particularly my dad. My dad noticed that I was physically frail.
Okay.
I mean, that stood out. It wasn't something you needed to notice. I was physically frail. I remember as a much younger child, I came home one day and there was this teacher that really hated me. You know, even as a child, you can tell because I was painfully shy. So you'd be asking me a question and I couldn't answer. I wasn't a dunce. I was just
afraid.
too frightened to open my mouth and say anything if I saw a crowd of strangers around me. And I wasn't shy at home, but at school, I'd look at everybody and everyone. So I wouldn't be able to communicate. I wouldn't do well in class. So that woman hated me with her soul. And, you know, she'd look for any excuse to, you know, insult me and all these things. And I noticed. And so I guess one day I came home from school, I was so low. And my mom, a friend of hers, was around, Mrs. Yokia. Mrs. Phoebe Yokia. Mrs. Phoebe Yokia was, let's say she wasn't slender. Yes, she wasn't slender. So I remember I came home and she was the one, she went on and on and on until I now admitted that my teacher had been. And she wanted to know the woman's name. And she would come to school the following day and sit on her. And I was like, okay, maybe I should have kept quiet. And you know, I immediately played it down because she sounded like it was something she really not. I knew even as a child, I knew she was just joking when she said she would sit on her. But I knew that she would probably come to school and give that woman a piece of her mind. And okay, now you come to school, you give this woman a piece of your mind, and you leave.
What next?
And I'm still in her charge. You know, so even as a small child, I could reason that way, and I was like, no, it's really not that bad, you know. And I really, really now downplayed it so that she wouldn't show up.
I know that.
But one thing my father was good at was, I think he also noticed that there was this person in the house that wasn't quite. So every opportunity my father got, he would tell me, listen, there is nothing you put your mind to that you cannot achieve. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Now, my mother was a nurse. She didn't like me getting involved in Children's Day, Girl Guide, and all of the, oh, you'll get sick, you'll get sick. And my dad would like, go and do the thing. And my mom would be like, yes, when she gets sick, you will not be the one sitting down in hospital. You know, all these kinds of things. But I appreciate the fact that in his own way, he was always trying to build me up. And my dad was this kind of person whom, okay, like I recall when I first went to look for admission, I wanted mass communication. They gave me history. And I really wanted that thing to be changed. BSU that time, Pioneer set. And my father had a bit of clout in Makodi. So I came running home because I felt he could pick up the phone and talk to the VC and so. And that was a huge mistake because experience should have taught me by that time that my father doesn't solve problems that you can solve yourself. And the minute I was done talking, he was like, hey, you want to change your course? How do I come into the picture? Yeah, I said, well, I need you. Yeah. He said, no, this is a problem that you have the capacity to solve. Go to school and solve that problem.
Simple. You know, it reminds me of
And my mom heard and she drove to the place. I went to see the HOD Mascom who happened to be related to my dad and did it. And I told her, listen, don't worry. There's nothing he can do. He's the HOD Mascom. They pushed me to history. It's the history person I'm having an issue with right now. And the dean of the Faculty of Arts, Professor Akosu, who really thinks that because I got an A in history in GCE, I should go ahead and do history. And I was like, Prof, what will I do with history? I don't have the patience to teach. You people should put me in Mascom. Oh, Mascom is already full. We only wanted 25 people. We already have 27. I said, I'm going to be the 28th. And I was.
That's it.
And I solved that problem myself.
Yourself. No, it's important to make your children, have that ability to solve their
problems
own
themselves.
I still go back to psychologists. Remember the experiment, if you follow it up with the rats, attempting in a hole to get something. Eventually, he was able to get it from constant, practice. And when he did, the joy inside the box was so much for him. If parents, instead of talking your child down, if a child is reading and is not understanding, like we saw in the planets, find out what's the problem. Is it that the thing is too hard? I don't know a lot of things my children study, but I make efforts to carry the book. Sometimes I know I'm reading upside down because I don't understand anything. But when I look at it, I'll pretend as if I'm reading it. Then I'll now say, come, this one now, when they taught it, are you sure you understood it? The person say yes now. Or you come and explain it to me. The person is talking. And if he starts using all the jargons that are related to those courses, I'm not a lawyer. And the lawyer is explaining. I'll cue off my mind. You know, when he's done, I say, hey, you just run your mouth so that you look as if it's. But that person knows that I can pick up his book and ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, if I find it difficult, I remember when the first one was reading, I'll read, I'll get confused. I carry Google and start searching the words one by one so it can guide me to understand it. And then we begin to do those challenges. Once they know.
You're an educated parent. What of the parent who can Google?
See, there are some parents who are not educated, but they're smarter than you and I.
Oh, yes, true.
You know, what they do is, one of them told me that when it's time for their children to read book, all of them will sit down around the kitchen table or wherever they sit, and that while the child is reading, she's busy, you know, sitting. With time, she will doze off. And they say, Mommy, you committed a crime first. You slept first. She said, I've been selling since, so I'm tired. But I understood the point she was trying to make. You know, whatever your children are involved in, try to get involved in it. You know, so if you're involved in it, you encourage them further.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me that I don't like that woman. She keeps calling me names. I said, what does she call you? This happened, I think, 3 or 4 days ago. What does he call? He said, each time he sees me, you call me a lodo. I said, and that's all. And you're angry. He said, yes. I said,
prove it. You are not.
When he tells you Olodo, he said, really? How did you know my name? That's the name they call me in our village. And I've been trying to make people call me that in the city. And the person will be like, you have a shock in your face. The person will say, Olodo in my place is a name for prince. Oh. It's a name they give to titled people. Okay. In your place, what does it mean, ma? You know, once you once you begin to react to it negatively, that name sticks. But the minute the person calls you Olodo, they say, me jeje, you know, that person will.
You see, let me buttress what you just talked about. In Nigeria, being a plus size is depressing.
And it's a recent thing because it's a Western concept.
People just open their mouth.
Like it's wrong.
You're fat. You're big. You're this. You're
not fat. You're blessed in the image of God.
But you see, the thing here is that it takes somebody who has self-confidence.
Yeah.
True. To be able to brush it out. Because so everywhere you go, don't you think you should lose weight? Don't you think you should lose weight?
It's almost like a compliment now.
No,
see you and they say, it's like a form of greeting.
The thing that,
I mean, like when we were younger, being heavy was associated with wealth. That's a cultural thing. But culturally, being heavy means that you're in a good place in your life.
Because of what they're going to say about her husband.
They will say that my son is not taking care of you.
But let me tell you, now, this 21st century, before you go, it's even the way they look at you is depressing. So if they're looking at you and it's depressing, how do you feel? And I always tell people that you have to think of your self-worth. All of us cannot be slim.
Thank you.
If all of us are slim, the people who make clothes for the plus sizes, what do you do? But you see, the thing that I have noticed with the plus size women, because they don't have self-esteem, when it's time, when you go for weddings, because the very slim women, here is open, everywhere is open, then the plus size again, with all the excesses,
open everywhere.
They now open everywhere. And I really don't talk about I really don't talk about those kind of issues, except you're my friend, who I can talk to you and you don't get offended. I will say, sisterly, calm down now. This all this extra thing is not meant to be exposed outside. Because and I noticed that even the very busty women tend to open everything up. And I just crack a joke. I said, let me tell you, the fun about it is about people imagining what's there. Don't give it to them.
Exactly. Go, girl.
And but what are their response? Oh no, they have to say it. If they don't say it. So even people who are mature, people who are older, they don't even have self-esteem for themselves. So it takes a lot. It takes, when you grow up, like, what do my parents tell me? You are wonderfully made. You are beautifully made. You know, so that thing, it's at the back of my head. So when you come and meet me and say, you are fat, I say, it's your business. I'm beautiful. You that you're slim, you are sick. Because health-wise, you the slim person, you're sick. I the plus size, I'm healthy.
And you're actually not
but if I may chime in, chime in, because you brought weight into this is
that's one big thing. Even children now.
Yeah.
Even though
no, hang on. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with this. Because I'm bringing it from a perspective Joy may never have looked at.
Okay.
This is me.
Yeah.
Fat.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
This is
Wow.
This is the fat version of me.
You.
And this happened after marriage.
So can you imagine?
And so I was stick thin.
A round of applause to Mr. Mom.
Don't mind him, the person that is complaining that I've gained weight. I said, oh, no, wait, I said, oh, you want people to say you are suffering me in your house, man. You don't know that. You don't know that for your wife to come to your house skinny and gain weight is a compliment to your husbanding skills.
Yes.
Anyway, I digress. Up to almost the age of 40, I had to shop in big section of children clothes if I was going to wear ready-made. Yeah, you know collarbones are a big deal now with models and everything. You could pour water and it would sit inside my collarbones. I've worked in NTA for long. So I used to be stick thin. From primary school, I was bullied because of that thinness. Just giving you the opposite. I was bullied from primary school for being. I was skinny through primary school. I was skinny through secondary school. I was skinny through university. I was skinny throughout my working career. I've been skinny all my life till I got married. So today, when I'm putting pictures on Facebook, I'm looking for the one where my cheeks are as if I'm holding water in it, because I'm finally fat. You understand? That's the irony of these things.
It's the men.
No, the men don't even care. Men like women that have flesh.
Not really.
Exactly.
Well, okay, Tom.
Well,
okay, thank you very much. I'm happy to see the floor on behalf of all men, and I hope I represent all of you well. Yeah, so I think for the men, I'd say it's the reverse. I think women put pressure on themselves. Because women don't really ask the man, what do you really want? I mean, forgive me, women. Hair, for instance. Honestly, I think a lot of guys don't care about hair. Right?
That's what you think.
But I think a lot of guys, when the woman has a pretty face, I don't go check in. Is she wearing bone straight? No. That's why when you make your hair, I don't remember to say, oh, this is a new hair, you know. Okay. I have to be on my game to remember that. I think it's the same thing too with men. Like what they like. If a man likes, generally men like women who are who have something they can hold, permit my use of language, right? So I see that a lot of men gravitate more towards plus size women, as you call them. Having said that, I just wanted to say something a bit about what she said. It's the self-esteem issue. This is what it has to come down to. If you're plus size, let it be because this is what you want to be. You know, if you're slim or there's a condition, you have to be comfortable in that. And all self-esteem has to be intrinsic.
True.
Unfortunately, for our society, it's the reverse. So I wear a nice suit, I feel more confident. If I showed up in this studio in shorts, even if I had the greatest knowledge on the topic being discussed, it could do something to my self-esteem, you know? Yeah. So I think that it's not so much a matter of whether you're fat or slim. It's more a matter of your own self-acknowledgement, how you see yourself, how you appreciate yourself based on all the intrinsic values that you have over the external things.
I agree with you, because that's the thing. You know, like, you said something about whether men like plus size women, skinny women, and you said this is what I talk about. Really, it's not important what they like, because it's all about you as a person. And I think that's where we get it wrong. External validation. It's not about what the man wants. It's about what you think about
want.
yourself. What he wants is a plus.
Yes.
If you're oversized or you're a plus size, be okay with it.
Yeah.
If you're not okay with it, do something about it.
Yeah.
That is as simple as that, because it's basically yourself first. And that's why I'm big on affirmations. Positive self-talk.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I talk to men about self-esteem, it's basically, we use CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, to work with women who have low self-esteem issues. But basically it's you thinking about what you think about yourself.
Okay.
What do you say to yourself? You said something about the person when you were a child who was always constantly telling you, putting you down, and how it affected you. And what we tell people is, say something positive to yourself. I practice positive self-talk, and and for me it works almost every day. As I look into the mirror and I say, "Oh, me can't do wallahi." Now in English it means you are all put together. And I smile at myself and I repeat it again. Can't it.
Yeah.
And by you, babe, you are it.
Every day.
Yes, and I tell myself that, and I say, "Oh, me, you're doing amazing things. You're gonna have an amazing day." And when I tell myself that constantly, when I go out to work, of course, life is full of people, toxic people, negative people, as well as positive people. So when something toxicity comes to you, I repel it. Because I have made up my mind I'm gonna have a good day. So your negativity, stay there. So it's all about the mind. The mind believes whatever you tell it. If you value to yourself, if you believe you have self-worth, you don't believe. Believe me, and it may sound cocky. I don't believe I bring value to the table. I am the value table. I am the table. I'm the table. I am the table.
No, but you see. Okay, look at one thing about self-esteem that I know that killed me when I was growing up. If I go to a party, nobody will talk to me. I used to look at myself and say, "Is there a problem?" Because the lights are dim. And here was this dark-skinned woman.
Oh, tell me about
who nobody was attracted to. The only time they see me is when I smile.
Yes.
So they only see my dentition.
I know.
So I grew up saying, "Oh my God, why am I dark?" And I kept growing up, and sometimes you meet the opposite sex. Why I'm saying this, I just want to chip into what she said about it's about you, not about the other person.
Yeah.
And they'll come and meet me and say, "Oh my God, I like you. But have you thought of yourself being light-skinned?"
Thank God nobody ever said that.
And you know the funny thing? He used to walk with my, and I'll sit there and I was saying, but because I made sure that I'm a damn confident babe. And I used to say, okay, when I'm light-skinned now and you're tired, another man will come and meet me and say, "Oh, if you were dark-skinned, so how do I now switch?"
In fact, the person that will come and say, "Hey, if only you hadn't bleached."
That's what I'm saying. And 80% of women in this country are bleaching.
Yes.
Just talk to them about James
No,
Brown.
you see what I like about this. I'm sorry. There's going to come a time when ebony will be exotic.
Excuse me.
I walked in.
Melanie is popping.
No, seriously, I walked.
I don't want all this racism.
No. Sorry, dear. You are not.
You are natural. I can see your knuckles. Everything is dead, so we know. That's your color.
I walked into a call center one day, and the darkest person sitting there. Okay, the darkest girl there was his color.
Okay.
And I was popping.
That's it.
With my blackness. Because anything that's common, right? Whatever is different from that thing stands out.
Yeah.
The only time my standout factor made me feel like killing myself, I had a friend, an Italian friend, invited me to an embassy dinner. I don't know what I was thinking. I turned up, and the darkest person was mixed race. I was the only Negro in the space who was dark-skinned. The other Negroes were as dark as you.
Okay.
I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. I felt like an alien. My kinky hair, and there's a way you'll be around.
You no longer be a person, you'll be an object.
If Liz stands next to a white person, you'll suddenly notice that she's dark.
Okay.
So 99% of the room was white. Then there was 0.5% that were Liz black.
Yeah.
Then there was yours truly. That was Ebony. That is like I spent 30 minutes in that place before I told the guy I needed to leave
But why?
desperately.
Yeah.
I felt like an alien. I couldn't talk to anybody.
But you understand, do you know
one
how
of
the mind
the-
beats?
I felt like I
That's
felt
the one of the biggest self-esteem we have to talk about.
I
because
felt as if
children
everybody was
growing up
staring at me.
don't like being dark-skinned.
That was the only time.
but
That's
this
the
is-
only
but
time
this
in
is-
my
but this is-
life I
Yeah,
felt like,
yes,
oh my god.
But this is the
why
problem.
did
I
you
think
do
it's
that?
mostly.
I
in
thought
our
everybody
heads,
was
right?
staring at me.
Because it was also an opportunity. Now imagine a different scenario where you wore a white flowing dress and you walked into that setting all glammed up
and
and you
everybody
walked
wearing black.
majestically like a queen and you said hello to everybody and you just made light conversation, because what it meant also was that you couldn't be ignored in that room.
I
Every-
was all glammed up and I still felt like dying.
Because if you went to
I thought everybody was staring
But
at
that's
me.
your
Yeah,
mind.
I
The
think
mind
it's
I'm
in
sure
your
it was
mind.
in my
It's
mind.
definitely a mindset.
I thought
thing.
it was in my
Because
mind, but
another
I
person
thought
can walk
everybody
into
was
that
staring
room
at me.
and take ownership
Yes.
of that place.
I was going to give an example. If you went to, if you go to Turkey, for instance, right, there are certain places where they haven't seen black people
Yeah.
and they're in awe.
And they're excited.
Once you walk in there, a friend
everybody
of mine
will-
went and they were calling her Beyonce because that's the only symbol
That's
of a
a-
black person that is.
Lani
And
Poppin.
people are literally lining up to take pictures
Yeah.
Are you
because they had
kidding?
never, yes, because they,
That's how
had-
Peter
they haven't
actually
seen a
got in the
black
game.
person.
That's
Yeah.
it.
It was
So
a
there's
thing,
a
yeah.
there's
Black
a I think that this self-esteem
Black
and it's
Panther.
really a
Yeah.
great topic because it goes deep for us black people,
Yeah.
starting from the slave trade era to talking about when we have, with our parents, and then not hearing affirmations for yourself, which is why, as coach said, this is the crux of the matter, that
Yeah.
for
Positive
you
self-talk.
it has to be about you.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
the self-esteem is something you cultivate personally as an individual, that growing up, even when you're in a setup with a lot of people,
We have to
you
talk
can
to our
also reach
children,
out
our
and
children.
take it.
Absolutely.
Then I wanted to say just lastly too that for me sometimes that self-esteem I have to wear it like the way women wear makeup. That means on some days I don't
don't have
feel
it.
it. I don't have
I
it.
think natural.
Yeah.
I'm walking
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the studio, I don't have it.
Yes.
But I have to wear it like makeup because some days you're required to give a performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
All right, so some of our followers here are writing in. Somebody said, "I love your speech, sir. You're on point." He didn't write your name, I guess, because
He's the only man. No, but he's good.
No, he is.
He
That's
said,
good.
"I'm following your programs with my wife right now, and we're actually blessed. Kudos to NTA. Thank you very much." And another person here says, "How do we begin to build self-esteem in our children?" I think since this is a question,
Tutoring.
I'll take a pause and we get to answer that. I think the children case is a big deal because a lot of us lose it
Yeah.
if we don't get it right with our kid.
Yeah.
A little boy visited me not too long ago, and he's about 7, 8. Okay, today is actually his 8th birthday. I told him, I came in, I went for a walk, and I came in, he was already watching TV. I said, I've told you in the morning when you wake up, do your, bedroom, do your teeth, do everything before you come. Now you're watching TV with your pajamas. It's wrong.
Wrong.
Go and bath. I was a bit stained. He got up, took it back, came back. I said, now look at you, you're a fine boy. Because you just had your bath, look how fresh and clean and handsome you're looking. You know what that boy answered me?
Yeah.
Mommy Lizzie, whether or not I bath, I'm a fine boy.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that.
It told me a whole lot that the mother has done a lot of job on him.
Yes.
He has this self-confidence, But while we're building it in our children, we should also be
Make it
careful
not cocky.
not to make them too
Over.
cocky.
Exactly.
Because they
Exactly.
could start having
Rude.
superiority complex.
It's a
Yes.
delicate
It's a
balancing
delicate-
You
act.
have to balance it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, you see, as parents, that's why we have to be intentional about it. How often do we compliment our children?
Most
the
parents
are
feel
not.
if you
don't
compliment your head goes
But
well.
sometimes
I don't do that.
That's like
You
she
have to
said.
compliment
I don't
your
believe
children.
in
You have
that.
to balance it. There are some kids, my dear. They are rude.
And now.
Yes.
But
I
being
think you
rude is
balance.
different from having a high self-esteem. People can have high self-esteem and
It's
still be rude.
it's the thin
You
line.
understand?
Yeah,
The
it's
thin
a
line.
thin
But
line.
I
That's
think
And
when
true.
a child is rude, that's not on me. You see, and it boils down to you taking responsibility for your part. My part as a parent is to teach my child to value and honor herself or himself. And I start with telling them to appreciate who they are. You see, what self-esteem means acknowledging your strength and your weaknesses. So I tell my child, these are your weaknesses, acknowledge them, do something about it. These are your strengths.
Like a boy can cry.
But you see, like what she said, most parents want their children to be doctors. The child is not passing the science subject.
The greatest money making is IT. It's
it's now that is IT because it's 21st century. Then they never used to do
footballers are making more money.
No, how many parents wanted their kids to play football? We still don't. So you see, now it has changed. My sweetheart, it has changed.
Let me tell you, I remember when my
Okay.
son was in school, when he was finishing primary school, and then all of them, they had this yearbook.
Yeah.
And then everyone was writing their future ambition. I was going through it smiling. This is me being real. And I saw this person, I want to be a doctor, engineer, or that. And then I saw my son, footballer. I swear, I'm going to choke.
That's it.
Choke.
You are just being...
I'm being real. Mama, I said, God forbid bad thing. So your mates are writing down to me.
No.
I didn't tell you this, but I'm telling you that
Your
it
heart
hurts.
is better.
No.
She says it hurts.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Don't be
Professional dancer.
No.
But look at the money they're making now. Okay, let's...
No, they expect that professional dancers want to no work for me.
No,
Have you seen the way they dance nowadays?
You see, let me tell you.
It's not
This
ballet.
How many percent? Look, this is us. We're talking. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. You see, this is the thing. We have to balance it. This is what they want. You've done your own part.
Yeah.
So I can't stand it when parents want their kids to be who they were not.
Yeah,
Because you see, there was a day I was watching the story of Files, and he told his father that he wanted to go into music. His father said, there's no problem. Just do this first degree. Just do this law. Not even, he was telling his son what he wanted the son to do because he was a lawyer. Parents have to get it right now, because now it's about any child I will have now. I will tell them to look for handcraft.
That is the way.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think parents just want structure.
Because they are not jobs.
Find how you make money.
That's it.
You need to make money.
So
And I
now
told my son, I can find a balance. You
Yeah.
can still go
all
to play
this we're
football
talking
and
about,
still go to school.
it helps our self.
Yeah, you
and our self.
you will make money, but you're not. I really don't care what you're going to do. You're not going to dance naked on TV.
No. How brilliant!
Yeah,
you
because
are.
nowadays when they say they're going to dance naked, have you seen these girls twerking in thongs? That's what comes into my mind.
Okay, wait. Before you do that, let me quickly read anything. I love all of you and how you're talking, especially Devon Mom. I'm from Makodi. That's your sister. And good morning to you guys. I love the topic, how you're responding to it. Thank you. Kudos to NTA. How do I build my self-esteem? I don't know when you wrote this. Okay, that's about 10 minutes ago. I hope we've been able to give you guideline on how to do that. My self-esteem is always low when I'm with my female friends. I feel I'm not in their class because the way they dress. Okay, okay. Let's see. Let me take one or two more because there's no time. I'm from Akwa Ibom. I'm Coach Udwak. I really enjoy your program. Thank you. That's your colleague. I am enjoying your program so much and it's helping me keep it up. We didn't write where you're. Okay, lack of self-esteem in our midst here in Africa and Nigeria is due to one simple thing that is lacking in our educational system, 99% of education. And with this, I'm going to wrap up. And I'll still tell you a story I actually shared with you. A man who wrote JAMB and WAEC for almost 9 times in Nigeria, and they wrote him off. At the moment, he is a Nigerian, he is in America, and he's the best neurosurgeon. Meanwhile, they never gave him a chance. So I think we should see the difference in ourselves. Just 1 second, parting word. 1 second.
For the lady that was talking about how to build self-esteem, I think the first thing you should do is have a positive mindset, practice gratitude, and also self-care.
All right.
Always remember to say something good about yourself to yourself every day.
Yeah. Write down every quality that you have, whether intelligent, beautiful, write it down and affirm it to yourself every day.
What do I say? Just love yourself and ignore other people's opinion about you.
That's the way to go. And finally, I'll say, if you haven't learned anything today, just know that you're the best thing that happened to Mother Earth. And I tell people, I don't know how old I am, but I just know one thing. I am sweet 16. I grow 16 every year, and that's because I want to look good and young. And I believe in it. I also tell myself the truth. My bones may not be 16 years old, so I also work hard. So be the best you want to be. Design your life and live it. I'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Beautiful. I'm actually a passionate baker. I don't rest until everything is done.
When I entered university, anytime I'm broke, I'll make cupcakes and go and sell to the other students.
Decorating cake it's an artistic thing, and art is, dynamic.
Join us on Baker's World every Thursday on the network service of the NTA. Baker's World, celebrating creativity. Don't miss it.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigerian first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Elizabeth Omori. I look at the headlines.
Revitalizing our healthcare system in ways that improve quality of care and the benefit package to care providers.
President Buhari hints report on health sector reform. Committee will enhance healthcare delivery. Murder in the cathedral. Nigerian army arrests assailants linked to our church attack. European Union to invest 1.12 million euros in Nigeria to strengthen capacity for implementation of key national economic policies. Plus, Nigerian Correctional Service pledges to address series of jail attacks. We begin with politics. Political leaders in the country have been tasked to stay focused on nation building and uphold the ultimate objective of promoting Nigeria's national interest at all times. President Muhammad Buhari, who threw the challenge while playing host to former state chairman of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, restated his unshakable resolve to maintaining the oneness of Nigeria as a matter of honor. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Exchanging views with the leadership of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change from across Nigeria, President Buhari expressed delight with their continued dedication to the ideals of democratic governance. He described as delightful that the doggedness with which they pursued their vision and goals for a greater Nigeria and improved living standard of the people had not dwindled. Nigeria, the president emphasized, requires more of such patriotic disposition and steadfastness to realize her potentials.
The patriotism in us is hard earned. I assure you that our main objective is the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have gone through all the troubles from 15th of January 1966 to date. You know what I mean by this. We kill about 1 million of ourselves in order to keep this country together. I don't think there can be any practical experience more than that. We are Nigerians. God willing, we will remain Nigerians, and Nigeria will remain one.
President Buhari said the enormous challenges facing Nigeria at this time are well known to Nigerians, trusting that they also appreciate the determination and commitment with which his administration is confronting the challenges given the constraints and limitations it faces.
We shall remain resolute to continue to deliver on the promises we made to Nigerians and to ensure that we attain greater milestones in terms of economic growth, infrastructural development, provision of security, and the war against corruption, among other responsibilities of government. We have spontaneously been governed by the Constitution in our conduct of government. Please continue to remain patriotic and law-abiding citizens of Nigeria in your respective corners.
The president assured his guests that CPC is adequately represented in the Federal Executive Council and directed them to work with the ministers towards ensuring their effective participation in the current political dispensation. Describing President Buhari as the patriarch of the CPC, the chairman of the forum and former chairman of the party in Niger State, Umar Shuaibu, commended the Nigerian leader for providing strong leadership and placing the country on the path to sustainable growth and development.
Equally worthy of mention is your efforts in ensuring a level playing ground in the electoral landscape of this country. Contrary to the constant criticism of the opposition parties of today, you are supposed to earn their commendation because you gave them what they denied you when they were in power. Our sacrifice to your cause over the years were never in vain, Mr. President.
He said CPC, which had always garnered millions of votes in elections across the country, is prepared to support the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2023 elections. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still on politics, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party says it remains united and focused towards the bigger task of securing victory in 2023. The NWC gave the assurance while playing host to delegation of the party from Delta State. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It's been a trying moment for the NWC of the PDP, seeking ways to settle internal party wranglings. First was post-presidential party primary crisis, then compounded by the unveiling of the Delta State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, as the party's vice presidential candidate. These partymen from Delta State, the Ijaw PDP mandate group, at the party's national headquarters to restate their confidence for the Atiku Okowa ticket and, of course, standing firm with the Senator Yochi Ayu-led NWC. Second leg of their visit is to tell the party that a valid governorship primary election was conducted in Delta State and that they stand with the result of that election.
We have come to tell the NWC of the party, don't be carried away by lies, don't be carried away by fake news.
PDP's National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba, on behalf of the NWC, assured of the party's fairness to resolving all concerns.
I want to assure you that this NWC, consistent with its mission, will continue to be fair to all members of the party, and all processes that have been taking place has been in accordance with the concern of our party.
PDP, he notes, will continue to be on the side of truth and the law at all times. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Away from politics, the Minister of Health, Dr. Saige Hanere, has been directed to fashion out effective strategies towards turning the brain drain in the nation's health sector to bring gain through the repatriation of knowledge and skills of Nigerian medical experts in the diaspora. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive while receiving the newly inaugurated executive committee members of the Nigerian Medical Association on a courtesy visit. Models aimed at revitalizing the health sector system for improved quality of care and package to caregivers in the country are being explored by the Health Sector Reform Committee, chaired by Vice President Yemi Oshimbaju. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
I thank you for paths of peace that you have adopted.
By consistently choosing peaceful resolutions of differences, President Muhammadu Buhari said the Nigerian Medical Association pushed forward several requests to government and interventions made on matters pertinent to the national health system. Some of the recommendations include the review and amendment of the National Health Insurance Act, upgrading and equipping of the health institutions, loans to fund hospital equipment, repeal and reenactment of the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, as well as improved funding for the newly established universities of medical sciences.
I am pleased to inform you that most of these recommendations have been addressed, whilst further action is being taken to study those involving cross-cutting administrative processes with legal implications. The Central Bank of Nigeria's support to the private pharmaceutical sector in the local manufacturing of medicines and medical consumables has also led to the provision of 100 billion naira for indigenous pharma manufacturers and healthcare investors as loans to expand their capital base.
In the area of healthcare infrastructure, the president said his administration has equipped federal tertiary hospitals with 100 oxygen generation plants to guarantee nationwide sufficiency, provided isolation centers and intensive care units, as well as established the novel National Health Emergency Medical and Ambulance Services.
Our Health Sector Reform Committee is currently exploring models for revitalizing our healthcare system in ways that improve quality of care and the benefit package to care providers. It is my hope that the Nigerian Medical Association and other stakeholders in the health sector will support these initiatives and chart a fast track to a health system that best meets the needs of Nigerians in the 21st century.
While formally congratulating Nigeria's Dr. Osaho Enabulele on his recent election as president of the World Medical Association, the president wished him and indeed the new executive members of the Nigerian Medical Association successful tenures and urged them to use their positions towards supporting the improvement in healthcare delivery. The president of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Uche Roland Ojima, commended President Buhari for a steadfast war against corruption, assenting to the National Health Insurance Authority Act and other reforms aimed at improving Nigeria's health indices.
We believe that though the road has not been easy, you have given your best, and by the grace of God, it shall end well. May posterity judge you and your administration fairly. We call for full and appropriate implementation of National Health Insurance Authority Act to the benefit of Nigerians. Elongation of retirement age for medical consultants to 70 years and 65 years for non-consultants and other healthcare workers will help stabilize the rapid decline in available number of skilled health care workforce to the ultimate benefit of the nation and her citizenry.
The Nigerian Medical Association made a case for federal government representation at the inauguration of Dr. Enabulele as president of the World Medical Association in Berlin, Germany later this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still on health, a documented research findings on patients' satisfaction with services provided under the National Health Insurance Authority has been presented to critical key players in the health sector. The research was carried out by the Nigerian Medical Association and the Center for International Private Enterprise to identify challenges of HMOs, enrollees and other key players. The signing of the National Health Insurance Authority Act by President Muhammadu Buhari is said to have informed the research carried out in Aba, Onitsha, Lagos and Kano with the aid of validated tools involving 1,043 respondents. This aims at not only determining accountability but make healthcare services available to the teeming Nigerian populace. Minister of State, Health, Ekuman Kama Joseph Nkama, who received the document, stressed the need for monitoring and evaluation of the scheme for improved service delivery.
This is a commendable effort as it provides an opportunity for feedback and engagement of stakeholders which will assist decision makers on national health insurance policy in Nigeria.
Distance of health facilities, waiting time, quality of service and delay in payment are some of the challenges identified by the researchers.
We urge all to see this report not as a commendation or condemnation, but a tool for engagement and reform to move from the present situation to the desired direction and destination.
The research is bringing out the gap which the president of Psychiatric Association of Nigeria pointed out, and that's the right thing to do, evidence-based. Now we know that mental health is not included, it should be included.
To attain universal health coverage, they advocate full utilization of benefits available within the social insurance space. You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's take a breather. More reports ahead. To stay with us.
The Managing Director of Galactic Backbone, Professor Muhammad Bello Abubakar, has congratulated the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, on his conferment with a fellowship status by the Chartered Institute of Information Security, CISEC. Professor Abubakar, in a statement by his media assistant, Tasio Muhammad Pantami, felicitated with the Communication and Digital Economy Minister on the historic recognition, noting that he is also the first and the only African fellow admitted into CISEC among 89 other fellows. The Galaxy Backbone boss said Professor Pantami's passion, creativity and consistency since his assumption of office recorded a convergence and synergy in the ministry, taking security into full consideration, especially in the global cyberspace. Professor Abubakar commended the minister's resilience towards development in the nation's economy through cybersecurity intelligence. Professor Muhammad Abubakar noted that the minister's priority on skills and information technology development has in so many ways addressed the unemployment challenge in the country.
Thank Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching the news on NTA News 24. Assailants linked to the Owo church attack in Ondo State have been arrested. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, announced this at a media interactive session in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
That he has given a meeting between the pen and the sword, both seeking ways to promote peace in Nigeria. Chief executives of media houses in a round table with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, paying less attention to the cheap propaganda by the criminals, but highlighting the success stories of the military operations is key in the fight, says the Chief of Defense Staff. But a bigger story that gladdens the heart of the media chiefs from the defense chief. The perpetrators of our church attack arrested.
On the 4th of August 2022, the military, in a combined operations with the DSS, arrested 4 terrorists at Eika in Okehi local government area of Kogi State. These are Idris Abdulmalik Omeiza, otherwise known as Ben Malik, Momo Otohu Abubakar, Aliu Yusuf Itopa, Awal Ishag Onimisi. Now, Omeiza is one of the masterminds of the 5th June attack on the Catholic Church in Owo, as well as the attack on the police station in Adavi, local government area of the state, that led to the killing of a policeman, as well as weapons being carried away.
Similarly, several coordinated airstrikes have eliminated terrorists and their cells in parts of Kaduna, Katsina, Borno, Niger and Zamfara states.
The federal government and of course the Commander-in-Chief has directed me and of course the entire members of not just the armed forces but the defense and security agencies to do everything possible that whoever is still being held in captivity, that we undertake operations to ensure that we have them indeed rescued, hale and hearty.
The defense headquarters assures residents of the Federal Capital Territory of their safety as the nation's seat of power is adequately protected. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
To climate matters, the need to promote information and knowledge exchange for climate change and mitigation in Nigeria has been identified as vital to bridging the knowledge gap among citizens and strengthening a national dialogue on climate change and sustainable water governance. This came up at the Nigerian National Committee for UNESCO Intergovernmental Hydrological Program held in Abuja. Butwamila reports.
The phrase, water is life, may be considered cliché, but people do need reliable supply of potable water through flood, drought and other natural disasters, as it helps them stay disease-free. However, the climate is changing at an alarming rate and making it harder for the world's poorest to get clean water. This explains the National Symposium on Intergovernmental Hydrology, facilitated by Nigerian National Committee for UNESCO to help mitigate, adapt, and strengthen resilience to climate-related hazards and natural disasters in Nigeria.
We need to advise based on science, based on knowledge, not just rule of thumb, but on facts of science. So that will be achieved through research.
We must do some things differently to be able to adapt. Either building structures, ocean barriers, to ensure that even if the ocean is rising due to melting of the ice, it's not to flow upland.
The Minister of Water Resources, here represented, highlights the importance of sustaining economic development as the global change is dynamic in water resources, making man vulnerable.
There is a causing issue. It affects every virtually aspect of life. Whether you are talking about health, you are talking about environment, we are talking about energy, we are talking about food production, we are talking about education, and it's a very important tool in the issue of climate change as we talk.
Emphasis on proper data collection and more professionalism in dealing with water affairs is recommended if Nigeria must be free of water issues. In Abuja, Buturu Miller, NTA News.
Coconut farmers employ federal government to utilize its full potential to earn more foreign exchange. Let's now join Alika Okmanachi Arua for business update.
The farmers noted that Nigeria has all it takes to become a big producer and exporter of coconut in Africa and the world if its potentials are effectively harnessed. They observed that Nigeria has fertile lands for coconut plantation as well as the market and human resources needed for the sector. They describe coconut as a tree of life with lots of benefits and uses, starting from the coconut water, coconut oil, chips, flakes, nuts, coconut paste, and even the husk used for producing carpets, doormats, and brushes. They therefore urged the government to create more awareness to improve its production, saying that the demand for the crop continues to increase globally. Now let's take a look at Tuesday tradings on the floor of the exchange.
Congratulations to you too.
Company. Ministers of Finance and Mines are optimistic that Nigeria will soon make breakthrough in steel production.
Loud but an interesting sound the federal government wants to hear, and Ajakuta Steel Company yet to give that sound. It is the sound that comes with steel production. How to get this sound and loud enough in the nation's production value chain brings these decision makers to the table. Ajakuta Steel Company must be revived to reduce the steel importation into the country, and the finance minister gives financial hope and the prospects. National Steel Council inaugurated, and here is the mandate. The 7-member council is chaired by Mohamed Murtala Aliyu, while Ambassador Abdulkadir Musafari is the executive secretary of the council. Mie Ogede, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the European Union is investing 1.12 million euros to strengthen the capacity for implementation of key national economic policies and initiatives, including documentation and visibility of EU projects in Nigeria. Head of Cooperation, EU Delegation, and Nigeria ECOWAS, Cecile Tassim, gave the insight at the unveiling of the projects in Abuja. Neka Oko reports.
The formulation of economic policy strategies to promote growth, job creation, and inclusive national development has been a regular feature in Nigeria's democratic transformation. The Medium-Term National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 is the latest in line of such strategies and promises to surmount some of the challenges that marred the success of previous plans. While the creation of these policies at various points in the country's transition has been indicative of a commitment to economic progress, implementing them has been severely tested by many factors, including capacity of relevant implementing institutions. This is why these officers drawn from overseas MDAs under the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, are meeting to build their capacity for the implementation of the new National Development Plan, courtesy of European Union.
The project that we are launching today is to assist the Ministry with their efforts to design and implement the best practice economic policy proposals, and to improve the Ministry's capacity for coordination, monitoring and evaluation.
You can call this training of trainers, okay, so that we want to explain the program to them, the plan, so that when they go out to other MDAs, because not all the MDAs are here, they'll be able to explain to their sister MDAs, what the plan is all about.
The project received the endorsement of other supporting partners.
The Nigerian Development Partners Group has an important role in ensuring well-coordinated support from the international community to the government in the achievement of its medium and long-term objectives across many sectors.
Through NISA's participation in this project, the Institute is prepared to continue to provide the evidence base for policy decision-making, the support of economic growth and sustainable development in our country.
The project is expected to last 18 months. In Abuja, Neka Uku, NTA News.
Time to take another break. The news continues shortly.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Kebbi State, northwestern Nigeria, is blessed with many treasures that has turned it into a destination of choice the world over. From the renowned Argungu Fishing Festival
to the Surami ruins that is gunning to be listed as a UNESCO heritage site, as well as the annual Uhola Festival in Zuru Emirate of the state, Kebbi State is indeed blessed with a collection of great historical and cultural sites. Kanta Museum is one of such treasures that has put the state as well as the country on the world map. The museum, whose history is intertwined with that of Kebbi Kingdom itself, attained world acclaim due to the originality of both its structure and artifacts that dated back to several centuries. Though it was built in 1831 by the then Emir of Kebbi, Yakubu Nabame, to serve as a palace for the kingdom when the capital of the kingdom moved to Argungu, however, it was named after Muhammad Kanta, who founded Kebbi Kingdom in 1515.
From Muhammad Kanta, the founder of the kingdom, who ruled between 1515 and 1561, up to the present Emir, which means they are all direct descendants of Muhammad Kanta. There are many houses, but all those that are numbered, it means are on the throne. Those that are not numbered, it means they have never been on the throne. The number indicates the order of succession, which means they are all direct descendants of Muhammad Kanta. And up to now, anytime the seat is vacant, any of these houses may contest.
The history of the kingdom dated back several centuries as a province of the then Songhai Empire. This subjugation, however, came to an abrupt end in the year 1515 when Muhammad Kanta rebelled against the Songhai Empire and declared the sovereignty of Kebbi as a kingdom.
We are 500 years old plus as an independent kingdom. Prior to that, we were a governorate under the Songhai Empire. And from the time we became independent and separated ourselves from the rule of Askia in Mali, to the time when Mujaddadi Sheikh Osman Al-Fodio came into the limelight and started the jihad, 300 years of traditional leadership for several countries in West Africa. And when the Mujaddadi appeared and started his reforms, Kebbi was one of the strongest emirates around. And we had misunderstanding, if I may use the word. And we fought each other for close to 100 years. Until the Europeans came, that was when bad blood, the wars between us and the Caliphate stopped.
Kanta set up the first capital of Kebbi Kingdom in Surame between 1515 and 1698, with the ruins of the first capital already enlisted with the United Nations for consideration as a World Heritage Site. The capital was later moved to Birnin Kebbi, which served as the second capital between 1698 and 1831.
Muhammad Kanta, the first king, up to the 13th king, lived in somewhere called Surami. Surami was the first headquarters of the kingdom. And then from 13th king up to 21st king, they lived in Birnin Kebbi. And then Yakubu Nabame constructed this place and first used it as his palace.
The commencement of the jihad of Uthman Dan Fodio in 1804 later led to the sacking of Birnin Kebbi as the second capital, thereby giving birth to Argungu as the new capital of the kingdom in 1831. The then reigning monarch Yakubu Nabame erected the palace in 1831, and the palace was used as such till 1942, when the British built a new administrative palace during the reign of Muhammad Sani.
Within that time, The house was being put into many public purposes like royal cemetery, which it still serves till today for the burial of the first kings. Up to now, any king who died on the throne will be brought here for burial. No matter where he dies, they will still bring him here for burial.
Its conversion on July 1, 1958 to a museum was in recognition of the enduring nature of the structure as well as numerous historical artifacts therein. Kanta Museum was taken over by the National Museum and Monuments in 2013, making it one of the oldest museums in the country, with a tradition dating back several centuries.
When Muhammad Sani left, it was that the house became a royal maternity home, and later turned into primary school. Primary school from there in 1959. So I think Muhammad Mera turned this place into a museum, and that is how this place became a museum. And it has been a museum since then. But on 26th of September 2013, in a colorful ceremony, Kanta Museum became a national museum.
Aside the original architecture, which has been retained till date, the palace has been maintained along the traditional line, which is a reflection of the creativity of Kebbi people even back then. Little alteration has been done on the building since then. The museum is divided into 11 compartments or galleries, with each containing important historical information and materials. The first unique feature that separates Kanta Museum from other museums in the country is the fact that it still serves as a palace till the present day. Thus, the press gallery, which is otherwise known as the King's Court, has hosted successive emirs of Kebbi every Friday from 1942 till date.
Any emir of Argun that up to today he will be buried here. From Yakubu Nabami, the founder, his brother Yusuf Ben Esara, and his son Muhammad Ba'ari, and to the last Muhammad Mera, they are all buried here. Because this is the cemetery. Only an emir of Argun can be buried in the cemetery.
The place is a burial ground for the kings. So we have the tombs of some 4 past kings here. You have, but in order of succession, he was 22nd. He ruled between 1849 and 1854. Then his brother. Now what happened when Yusuf Manasara was coming back from some war expeditions? He was ambushed at Amburusa under the order of Sarkin Wandu. He sustained a wound and he died as a result of that wound he sustained. But as a tradition, Kebbi people were able to retrieve the body. They brought it here for burial. So they buried him here. And then Muhammad Ba'ari was a son to Yakubu Nabami. So when he ascended the throne, his mission was just to avenge the death of his uncle. Yeah, he now followed Sarkin Wandu to a place called Karakara. Karakara is in Niger Republic today. He beheaded the person, brought the head here for everybody to see. So you see, Muhammad Ba'ari was just a year on the throne, 1859, 1860, but he died a natural death, and the mission accomplished. So Sarkin Wandu, only his head is buried here.
For His Royal Highness Alhaji Samaila Muhammad Mera, the Sarkin Kebbi, having to visit the museum every Friday and to also pay homage to the predecessors in 2 of the galleries dedicated as a resting place of all Kebbi rulers, is an invaluable opportunity that he says he will cherish for as long as he lives.
It's like a homecoming for me, no matter what happens, anywhere we find ourselves. The final resting place is where our ancestors are. This will all end one day, and so it's a spiritual journey for me every week to remind me that this is not forever, that I must try to do just to everyone.
What limits you? Nothing. What defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live more.
From the Royal Cemetery, the next gallery gives an insight into the traditional occupation of the people of Kebbi State. Most of the occupational tools on display give vivid insight into some of the occupations peculiar to the people from time immemorial, some of which had endured to the present day.
You have woodwork, sasaka. These are the tools 1, 2, 3, 4 with which he uses to make all this. Frame of a drum, women's tool, and this is our indigenous eating bowl, made of wood also. Then we have mat weaving. Mat weaving is mainly done by Zabarma people. So all these are the products. This was the original, the box. Just like today, you go to the market and buy your Ecolax. In those days, no matter how affluent you are, this is the box. And then you have Dukanchi, that is leather work. These are the tools, and these are some of the products. And a horse saddle, horse decoration, all made by the leather workers. And all these are leather, including horse decoration. Then you also have cloth weaving. From cotton wool, they spin it into thread. And they now take the thread to the loom. And the person now will make these different kinds of looms according to make or according to the design. Then you have wanzanchi. Wanzanchi, that is a traditional barbing. The tools, and then these are some of the hairstyles. But in those days, the hairstyles also determines where the person comes from. Now, for example, you have tukwa, the hairstyle for the student. In those days, anybody you see wearing this kind of hairstyle is a student learning the Quran. Then you have dogonrai. That is the general style for the kabawas, the commoners. And then you have guga for Kokanawa and Danganawa. Kokanawa and Danganawa are another community here. Then you have lauje, the hairstyle for the celebs. On top there, the hairstyle for the prince. We call it bagaya. Then you have two different smithing. You have blacksmith and white smithing. For blacksmiths are those who make farming and the war tools. They get their material from the ground, that is iron ore. Which means in those days, we have large deposits of iron ore around here. What you have here is raw iron. after processing. Now this is what they heat until it melts, then they will be able to make all this. So and we also have Westmaiden who uses aluminium mainly.
The turbulence experienced by the kingdom from inception and the various wars of survival fought by the people of Kebbi was also captured in the gallery dedicated to ancient warfare instruments. Since the whole essence of the museum is to document who the people in Kebbi are, their outlook, like hairstyle, tribal mark, costume, were not left out of the galleries.
All these people are Hausa-speaking people grouped into clans identified by their facial marks. Sometimes the only difference between the marks is the mode at which the marks are made or the number of the marks. For example, you have Balekai here. Balekai is from the ruling class, by the royal family. And then you have Bakabi, the commoners. The only difference between Balekai's marks and those of the Bakabi are that Balekai carries 9 and 10, while Bakabi carries 10 and 11. Then you have Baari, who is fondly called 1111 here because of the nature of the marks. Yeah. Then you have Bazabarni. Of course, the only non-Hausa speaking clan here is the Zabarma. And then you have Shanganchi, mainly fought around Yauri. And then you have Bagube. Bagube and the Baari almost the same, but Bagube's mark stop halfway to the ear, while Baari's mark reaches the ear. That's the only difference. Then you have Bazawfari, mainly found around Zamfara. And you have Bagobiri. Bagobiri are scattered everywhere in Nigeria.
Fishing is so central to the people to such an extent that a whole gallery was dedicated to various implements used for the occupation. The most unique treasure that has placed both the Kebbi State and Argungu on the world map, the Surami ruins and the Argungu Fishing Festival, had to share a gallery. Whereas the Surami ruins, which is presently under consideration as a World Heritage Site, gave a vivid insight into the first capital of the kingdom, the relics and ruins of the Wall of the Old Kingdom is regarded as one of the oldest of such ruins available anywhere in the world. As for the Argungu Fishing Festival, which ironically had gained UNESCO recognition riding on the back of the Surami ruins, it has its own historical significance as it signals the end of the over 130 years of bitter wars between Kebbi Kingdom and the Sokoto Caliphate.
For over 100, the prince left his abode in Bengi, walked to the outskirts and met. The bond of they were together to see his friend, now a sultan and a senior of Argungu, and that was monumental. When you have two big kingdoms fighting for over 100 years, monumental. All to be celebrated. It must be treated as something unique tradition, which is so season is celebrated. And all the one for his grace and glory for the favor he bestowed on us and our community of this festival. Our name is the name of our town is mention it anywhere in the world. Say Argungu, Kebbi, how the Fishing Festival holds. So many amazing stories to tell you about people I met who were here before they even knew who I am. We're talking about the festival, trying to tell me about it.
The last gallery in the museum, a typical village among the people of the kingdom, with its various trapping and characteristics. at the Kanta Museum in Argungu relics that could be found anywhere in the world. So, whenever you find yourself in burning Kebbi, which is less than 50 kilometers away from the museum, a visit will surely leave you with better appreciation of who we are as a people, even before colonialism. Nigeria, a beautiful country, everywhere and anywhere.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message from the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, Go TV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Hello and thanks for joining us for the news update. At 11, I am Elizabeth Omori. Political leaders in the country have been tasked to stay focused on nation building and uphold the ultimate objective of promoting Nigeria's national interest at all times. President Muhammad Buhari, who threw the challenge while playing host to former state chairman of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, restated his unshakable resolve to maintaining the oneness of Nigeria as a matter of honor.
Hard earned. I assure you that our main objective is the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party says it remains united and focused towards the big task of securing victory in 2023. The NWC gave assurance while playing host to delegation of the party from Delta states.
I want to assure you that this NWC, consistent with its mission, will continue to be fair to all members of the party, and all processes that have been taking place has been in accordance with the constitution of our party.
Assailants linked to the Owo church attack in Ondo State have been arrested. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, announced this at a media interactive session in Abuja.
On the 1st of August 2022, the military, in a combined operations with the DSS, arrested 4 terrorists at Eika in Okehi local government area of Kogi State. Now, Omeza is one of the masterminds of the 5th June attack on the Catholic Church in Owo, as well as the attack on the police station in Adavi local government area, Kogi State.
Guests on Good Morning Nigeria advocate improvement in local refining capacity, formal engagement of artisanal refiners, and adoption of alternative energy resources towards mitigating the high cost of diesel and improving the production system in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria.
But if we had ever needed these our local hands, it is now. Formally engage with the artisanal refiners that are manufacturing, that are producing.
Getting anything done from the ports down to the tank farm, the union, there is a lot of total chaos.
And that's the news update. Thanks for watching.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to the very first edition of Lifelines with Nima. I am a counselor and relationship coach who has dealt with a fair share of trauma and pain. I have been broken, stigmatized, and even labeled. Everything I have been through has groomed and prepared me for my God-given purpose and assignment, which is to help people through their most difficult emotional struggles and challenges. I will be your host, and my name is Nima. Now, what is our show about? Well, as a counselor, I have worked with a lot of individuals and families who struggle with emotional and behavioral issues. This show is all about opening the doors for you to see and learn from the experiences of my clients who come from far and wide to consult with me, and my team will provide you practical solutions. We will entertain you, and most of all, we will be opening our arms to you when you need validation and emotional support the most. It promises to be a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Somebody going to get that?
Wow.
Okay, thank you, sirs.
Yeah, you're finally here with that clients.
Okay, what's going on?
Excuse me.
No, he's here. No. Okay, no.
Yes. Calm down.
What is the problem? I'm okay. Stella killed me. Stella killed me. Hey, my only child. My only daughter. She has been having sex.
Take her.
She's sexually active. Mima, I trained this girl in godly way. I give her everything she wants. She's living the latest one. What else can I do for her?
How are you sure she's already having sex? How do you know?
Mima. I went to her room and I picked her phone.
Let's wipe the previous chat so we can start this one. Sweet, I miss you already. Same here, baby. Last night was amazing. You practically screwed my brains out. You're still coming over today, right? Sure, once my parents leave. That's my girl. See you soon. Love you more. Are you serious?
Can you imagine?
Tell me, how well do you know your daughter?
Stella, I know her the way I know the back of my hand. Stella, her favorite food is swallow.
Okay.
Her favorite color is blue. She loves swimming. Whatever she wants, she always have it. What else do you want me to say?
Okay.
Romoka is my friend. All right. Truth must be told here. Romoka is all over the world looking for money. Tomorrow she's in China. Tomorrow she's in Dubai. Please tell me, don't Allah, what time does Romoka have for her daughter?
I run round so that I can meet her needs and provide for her needs, make her happy, so that she can measure up to her peers.
Why they keep us?
Aren't you coming?
I'm not coming. You're on party.
Who's Stella?
Any problem?
No problem. Just want to be sure.
Isn't it obvious? Please, are you ready?
It's obvious. With their eyes and their mouth, you shall know them. Yes, hello. After me.
Stella?
Isn't it obvious?
Oh, hi. Welcome.
Will you shut up your mouth?
You're even sitting on Mima's seat. You want to be like Mima soon, right?
No.
Okay. So how is school?
School is fine.
Okay. And you're wearing white. Must be your favorite color.
Yeah. It's elegant and mature. My dad got it for me.
Oh, okay. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so how's Adams then?
It's fine. You see, Mima? Tell me you want to be eating what your mother is eating. We are mates. Run. the father spoiled her. If the two of us join hands together to scold this girl, she will not behave like this.
Stella, but why? Your mom just saw your messages. Why? What's happening?
He said he likes me. I don't see a problem with that. All my friends have boyfriends, and it's a new trend. She read my messages. Thank God I deleted those pictures. Should have killed me. That's the only thing she knows how to do. Oh, I think I need to change my password. Mima,
yeah.
Respect is reciprocal. Can someone ask my mom why she's going through my gold?
Calm down, mommy. Calm down.
Okay. Wait, though. Is that why mom brought me here? To disgrace me? That woman can be a pain in the ass sometimes.
Calm down. Yeah, mommy, calm.
Can you imagine? Romoke, please, we are in the public. I beg
Calm
you,
down.
Romoke, please.
I'm wearing white.
Calm down. Calm down, ma. Calm down.
Kema, don't act like in chica.
Stella, this is very wrong of you. First of all, it's disrespectful to talk to your mother like that.
She disrespected me too.
Can you hear that? You have to disrespect her back? Please. That is so rude. And I'm sure your father will be very upset if he hears you talk like this. It's wrong. You don't do that. Now, she's worried about you. And you might not understand why she's worried. It might seem cool and funny and nice now to be having sex. But what's of the consequences? What's of the risk that you expose yourself to? Now, this person or these people you had sexual intercourse with, how are you sure they don't carry a sexually transmitted disease?
No, they don't. We use protection.
Protection fails. I hope you know that. The only way that you can be 100% sure that you're free of these problems is by abstaining from sex. Besides, you're such a small girl.
My friends do it.
This is a child that I was carrying like an egg. I never knew she has spoiled.
Now, this attitude is so wrong. And you might think you're fly and high now, but when the consequences of premarital sex hits you, you will not know what hit you. As much as possible, you first of all need to honor your parents. They have raised you. She carried you in her womb, took care of you and brought you up to this point. You can never disrespect her. It's completely wrong. And I'm going to talk to your father about this. It's not acceptable.
Why is she even bothered? My friends do it. It's not a new thing. We use protection. We're very careful about it.
Children will be children and teenagers are always a handful. We need to be careful how we bring them up. We need to be cautious when we raise them. We need to ensure that we lead them. We're not bossy because you see, once upon a time they'll be babies and before you know it, they're adults themselves. What you can use to take care of them and keep them in line is becoming a mentor to them, becoming their friend. Be this person that has access to them. Be this person they are free around. Be this person that they don't see as a stranger. Of course, you know, attitude changes. Stella here is suffering from what you call, you know, the teenage tendencies. She's now feeling like this because she's having sex and already feeling, you know, high and fly. Of course, we'll deal with it. And but before we get down to that one, we need to go to the hospital and have her checked. Make sure she's not harboring any STDs and make sure that she's not pregnant or anything like that.
Test. Even the doctor will find out I'm a virgin.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents tooth holes, cleans deeply, fights bacteria, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from close-up.
Hi there, welcome back. We're still talking about premarital sex and the client that came in with her daughter this morning. With me, I have in my situation room my team members that I have specially handpicked that have come from different walks of life. They will be bringing to the table their opinions, their decisions, and their ideas concerning the various issues that we'll be dealing with. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much, Minima. What happened to your earrings? You were in the
running up and down today. So how it was. I went upstairs, coming back. I didn't even notice it. Yeah, don't worry. Part of the work, Jerry. Premarital sex is a sexual relationship or relation between two unmarried people. You know, like they are not married. So if it's premarital, just like its name, it's before marriage. So if you do anything sexually, any sexual activity before marriage is premarital sex, you know, and all of that. So I was like, okay, let's just go into it. So what's the hula baloo about the woman shouting, you know, and all of that? Like, what's the society's view, you know, about it, you know, and all of that? And then I got to discover that before now, historically, it was unacceptable. Like premarital sex was unacceptable. It wasn't something that was welcomed in a society. But, you know, with the advent of time, it now became like a norm. You know, everybody just into it. Before now, there was a celebration they do. Like if you marry, you know, as a virgin, there are gifts they buy for parents and all of that. But that's now going into extinction. And I was like, what? I had to dig deep, you know. And then one Pew study in 2014, you know, said that a global study on morality generally, like what's morality, the face of morality in the society now, and then it was conducted and it was discovered that particularly it was unacceptable in Muslim countries. We have Malaysia, we have Indonesia, we have Jordan, Pakistan, and Egypt. With each
Niger Republic, they are kind of steps.
Please let me finish what I'm saying. You know, Egypt, Niger, Indonesia, with 90% on it was unacceptable. Like it's not welcomed in that community. And then coming to Western Europe, it was welcomed. Unacceptability was just 10%. Oh wow! So you see that in the Muslim countries it was not acceptable. But in the Western you have Germany, Spain, you know, and the likes. They don't have a problem with it. It was a welcome. So coming back home to our dear country, you know, I found that there was a question, a research was carried out, and then they asked if between the ages of 16, you know, if it was okay for people who are in love at 16 years old to have premarital sex. For females at that age, 24% said it was okay. And then for males, that's 16 years old to be involved in premarital sex.
24%.
24%.
In Nigeria?
For females, yes. That's females rating. Yeah. And then for male, they said 33% accepted. That was okay for 16 years old in this country. It's okay.
100% divided by
my friend, go away. And then after that, another question was now asked that, okay, 16 years. Okay, how about 18 years old? And guess the female that said 23 or 24 a while ago, it now skyrocketed to 60. Like it was okay for 18 years old. Yes,
60% of
agreed that it was okay for 18 years old to have sex before she married. And then for male, that's 18 years old now, 71%.
Not surprised.
You understand? So I you know, the whole thing is now like, okay, it's okay. 16 years old in a relationship, she engage in sex, and then 18 years old.
What is 16 years old doing in a relationship?
Exactly.
So we've seen that, you know, it's early in the university days, maybe at the age of 19, 20. That's when most men start. Either that or they have been abused by nannies, by house help, by cousins,
uncles, aunties, and all of that.
So, you know, for the teenage boys, it's a bit tricky. For girls, they are at a disadvantage because people prey on them. Much older people are attracted to them quite early. But for boys, they try to show. That's why you see that statistics for them is higher. But most of the time, if you dig deep, they have not really started.
Meanwhile, it's not only the boys that there are some girls that are like that.
Yeah.
Where I've seen small girls. Once these people start coming out, it's like they are on fire.
You know, one speech where there was one girl like
there was one lady I
saw, and she just came, saw one uncle in their DQ. they just, when we're discussing this thing just outside a while ago, the guy, she was just telling me that this thing is everywhere. We start making noise about it. The small girl of 15 or 16 came and met the uncle that please come and sleep with me. So the guy was like, are you okay now? Not uncle as calling someone uncle. Like, he was like, what's wrong with you? He now said everybody in the class is laughing at me because they said I've not done it before. Stop it. You know when she said
how can you say stop it? Go ahead.
I'm not saying it again.
Expression is an expression.
I was saying that the girls too, you understand, like Nima said, the boys, they want to test run. Some girls also want to test. Have you seen where some of these small girls are greeting you? Somebody is greeting you, can't greet me from afar, you are greeting me.
I'm bringing
good morning. What's that?
Doesn't make sense.
You understand? All those are temptations that these small boys they encounter. Yes, it's the truth. Yeah. But for me, it's the mom I blame.
Yeah, I think I blame her totally. For her to even allow the little girl, she wouldn't give her parental. She went ahead.
The messages that I saw. Wow.
She went ahead and began playing with this.
Look, you can't leave them alone. I think the mom and the daughter should share. They should share the
Leave the daughter out of it.
The mom was wrong, yes. The mom had a part to play, yes. But the daughter, you are not stupid now.
Just blame on
Stupid now. You are growing up.
She's 18.
Yeah. Exactly. That is my point. She's 18. That's she's not like a child.
That's the more reason I blame the mother.
Thank you. I agree with
you. The way she should go. And the way her mom is even shouting. So I can find the link.
Okay. She was chewing gum, rolling her eyes, talking.
I said, who is, what's that name?
Teenagers have attitude.
Of course, she would have, I believe she had sized you.
Look, I think.
And of course, the person is ministering to her. Of course. She knows the person ministering to her.
Who is this on us?
He said the person ministering to her.
I talked to them already and we've concluded that we're going to go to the hospital
today.
Yeah,
this evening.
Yes, so that we can just run some checks, make sure she's okay.
Okay.
Because most of these young ones don't even use protection.
That's right.
Yeah, so I told them, and so in a couple of minutes would
Can I come with you to the hospital?
Of course, we're always going to the hospital.
And I hope that
curiosity or something.
No. I just want to be there.
Oh, that's why do you want to be there?
I really want to see the mother.
Why do you want to be there?
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents tooth holes, cleans deeply, fights bacteria, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from Close-Up.
Hi there. You're very welcome to the Celebrity Corner of Lifelines with Mima. You will not believe who I have in the house today. With all honor and joy, I welcome and I introduce to you Pastor Mrs. Dayo Benjamin Lani. She is an enterprise communicator and the CEO of Doxa Communications. A very warm welcome to you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you for honoring us with your presence.
Thank you.
I feel elated and happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, for me, it's always, every time I'm like on set with, someone new, someone hosting.
Yeah.
It's special. And it's a privilege, and I celebrate you.
Oh, thank
and
you.
Your entire